open this. We'll open this. Start. Stop.
Got it.
It's
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
I don't do it.
Hello, everybody. This is Lori Weir. I am a life coach, and I have started this SIP Tiara Party 2020 series, and we're coming to a perfect close by having mocktails, herbal mocktails with China Rose and AJ from China Rose Wellness. So welcome, ladies. So happy to have you. And tell us about what you're going to be doing today.
Well, we're having an herbal mocktail hour together today to celebrate the end of the week, and I know it's been a busy one for us and probably for you too. So we thought, let's just hang out together, talk about all things wellness, and get to know each other a little bit. Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, I'm going to let you guys just kind of take over the show today.
Sounds great. I thought to preface our mocktail concoction, we might talk a little bit about, why mocktails in the first place, especially herbal ones. So I thought just a quick introduction if you don't already know us. My name is China Rose. I'm a nutritional therapist and clinical herbalist and yoga teacher. And AJ, my lovely wife and partner in crime and business, is a functional fitness trainer, a wellness coach, a creative mixologist, a green living extraordinaire, a holistic chef. I could go on, but she's my better half. And together we have been running China Rose Wellness for 11 years now. So I thought it would be helpful too to maybe get a picture into why we do what we do. We both had health challenges as young people and weren't really finding the type of support we needed through the allopathic conventional medicine route, and both just really had to dive into doing our own research about what we could do to support ourselves and our vitality, and got so excited when we started to incorporate things like healthy foods and medicinal herbs and nutritional supplements, and realizing that we actually saw a big difference. I know I did.
Yeah, absolutely. My allergies changed almost immediately, and it was just like very eye-opening because as a child, that was just the worst. Allergies were the worst.
They were debilitating, right?
Debilitating, yeah, in bed type of allergies.
And here we are in allergy season, and she's with us today. So from there, we were so excited and inspired. We just delved further into research. At the time, there really wasn't a lot of programs out there in terms of education that included all the things that both of us wanted to learn. So we've slowly just curated our own education over the years and started, supporting family members, friends with what we were learning, and eventually started a business and started doing consultations and created a career that we're uber passionate about. And we've both, AJ has been in this wellness industry for, gosh, almost 30 years now.
30 years. So that's aging me.
I think I'm in there around the 22-year mark, and we're just we couldn't see doing anything else. It's how we live. It's what we do every day. And I thought too, a lot of us have heard that term holistic health before, but do we really feel connected with what that means? It's the idea that our body is so cool and so wise that it's constantly working to reach a state of homeostasis or balance. And it does that behind the scenes. We don't have to have anything to do with that really for our body to continue to work towards that goal. It's also really awesome when I learned that our body is constantly rebuilding itself. Like we're having old cells die off and disintegrate, and we're making new cells every second of every day. So we're rebuilding our organs. We are rebuilding our endocrine system, our skin, all of even our bone marrow regrows itself. So when I learned that, I was like, okay, this is so amazing. What can I do to help, right? That's how I looked at it. What can I do to help that process? Also in holistic medicine, we look at symptoms not as annoying things to quiet right away per se, but more so to get in tune with them and why they're happening. So we see symptoms that are as our body's a way of communicating with us, right? It tells us when something's working and something's not working. So it's not that we won't take maybe an herb or drink a bunch of water if we have a headache, but we want to think back to maybe, why did I get that headache in the first place? Was I, stressed? Did I not sleep enough? Did I eat too much sugar? Did I have too much caffeine? Did I wait too long to eat? We're making those connections so that hopefully we can avoid having that headache in the future. And that's a great way to really form a bond with your body, right? Is to tune into all those little signs and signals your body gives you every single day. So ultimately, holistic health is about partnering with your body, right? Working with your body and not against it. And being in awe of how amazing our bodies are, and really just trying to nourish through food, through stress relief techniques, through maybe some supplements and medicinal herbs to support our body's natural efforts. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So we're so excited about it still, 20, almost 30 years later, super excited about what we do and love sharing it with other people. So we worked, both of us, with many different types of people over the years, with kids, with animals. AJ has more experience with animals, with men, but we've found that we've
also animals.
We gravitated towards working with women at this point, because when it comes to family wellness, I think most of us can agree that most women are somewhat of the center of their family wellness, right? Most of us have this natural sense to want to nurture and support the people we love. There are men that do that as well, but I'd say we found that by supporting other women, we can, the benefits of that can radiate out to their family, their community, at large. So that's why we're so excited about working with women. Right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that a lot of people ask what we do, and sometimes I stumble over myself because we wear so many hats and we've done so many things in this realm, but what it all comes down to in the end is wellness, overall holistic wellness and homeostasis, and that is every part of our life. It's our our mental health and our nurturing our body, and also creating a space for ourselves that feels safe. It's making sure that the people around us, our community and our loved ones, are also well. So what I do is wellness.
That's a good
I just started saying that.
And to talk a little bit more specifically about herbs, since we're going to be using herbs in our mocktail. There are many ways to nourish ourselves, and food obviously is that main foundation of nourishment, but there are many herbs that actually they're great sources of vitamins and minerals. We can add them into our daily lives to support just healthy bodily functioning. Really it's nice to think about the fact that we've been using medicinal herbs for 5,000 years as human beings. We have written account that far back. And so, really herbs were still the main form of medicine in our families, with most of our grandmothers, if not our great grandmothers. So it's in all of our family lineages to use medicinal herbs. And most of the time it was the women in the family that kept the chamomile in the cupboard with the peppermint, and cooked with a bunch of garlic when you got sick, and knew to make bone broth and add, extra herbs to that. So, I think it's more about a remembrance when it comes to getting to know herbs again. Not that anyone's brand new to it, but that we are coming back home to it, is the way I look at it. So in terms of the different types of herbs we might use, I talked about, like garlic and rosemary, things we use in cooking, turmeric in your curries. So you can use herbs in small amounts every day just to support different aspects of health. And the ones we're going to use today are like that. You use them regularly to build strength within systems of the body. But then there are different herbs you might use acutely in the moment when you need them to have an acute physical action. So there's thousands and thousands of herbs. We could talk forever, but it's such a, we have so much to work with within the world of herbalism. We've really just scratched the surface. So I thought we'd highlight some specific ones today that really support immune system health and our body's ability to detoxify and to keep us healthy. And it's going to be delicious.
Delicious. We've already had one.
Well, that's what I wanted to say, is that I love how you're taking something that's medicinal to us in a holistic way, but you're showing us a delivery form that is fun, and we can maybe encourage it more in our lives if we have fun with it. So I really appreciate you bringing the fun to the herbal remedies for ourselves.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
We want to get to concocting. Does that
Yeah.
sound like a good
You guys
plan?
ready to have a mocktail? I'm going to turn the computer so that y'all can see what I'm doing. Might have to shut that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, does everyone have ingredients already? We sent you the email or the post.
Facebook post, yeah.
Facebook post.
So you mind me jumping in real quick and reminding everybody that AJ and Tina Rose, they actually have a tiny living home that they use to travel across the country, location to location, doing different workshops and retreats and things to spread the word beyond Napa Valley. So you're right now, they're inside of that tiny kick-ass house. This is their home sweet home. And how many square feet is this?
175 square feet. So yeah. So we were just in the dining room right now, and now we're in the kitchen. All right. So yeah, we've had this for 4 years. We just turned 4, right?
Yeah.
Our tiny house just turned 4. So it's been awesome. We have taken it all over the country and have been having such a good time just playing house. It almost feels like we're playing, like, Bardo Wagon, Medicine Woman.
Yes.
Like Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Remember that show? I loved that show.
Now we'll give you the tour in a minute, though. Let's get some mocktails in hand.
Okay, so of those that did decide to join us on making the mocktail, it's super easy. If you did gather all of your things ahead of time, we're going to be using chamomile, which is great for digestion. It's a great calmative. Like China Rose was saying, with herbs, you can use them acutely or over time, but this is a great one to grab for all kinds of things. If you're feeling like a little upset stomach, or you just want to calm down, or great, nice before bedtime. So you can actually make this this cocktail as a toddy too, if you want to do it warm and in the evening before bed. You would just do it slightly differently. So for this, we're doing chamomile. I had already pre-made chamomile tea ahead of time and put a spoonful of honey in it, raw local honey, a spoonful per cup, basically. So if you're making 2 mocktails, you're just going to do 2 spoonfuls per. Well, you're not using the whole teapot. You're not using the whole teapot. So it's not gonna be as sweet as you think it is, because you're only using a portion of the tea. But that was what I did. I had sweetened it ahead of time. So the chamomile, I am gonna take just a few little chamomile flowers and throw in a pinch per drink. And then I had already pre-cut my pineapple, and it's just gonna be about a handful per drink. If you're just making 1 drink, 1 handful, or if you're making yourself 2 drinks, that's fine too.
AJ, if we already pre-made our tea, how much tea should we add?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So first you want to do the chamomile flowers and the pineapple, and get that in there because we're gonna muddle it. And if you have a muddler, that's awesome. But if you don't, that's okay too. You can just use the back of a wooden spoon or the other end of the wooden spoon. Or if you got pineapple juice, that's cool too. You won't have to muddle it. You would just use like the equivalent of 2 handfuls or a handful if you're using 1 drink. The equivalent of a handful of pineapple juice would be about 1.5 ounces, depending on how juicy the pineapple is. This one's pretty juicy. So we're gonna put that in the shaker or the mason jar, whatever you have. And then we're gonna add our organic mushroom immune tonic, 2 dropperfuls per drink. So since I'm making 2 drinks, I'm gonna do 4 dropperfuls in there. And then the elderberry, China Rose Wellness elderberry tincture. This is not like elderberry syrup. Good job, Lori. You got yours. Yeah, so this is not like the syrup. It's the tincture. It's the concentrated form of the elderberry, so it's not overly sweet. Hey, Mama.
Hey, Mama.
What was the other little thingy you tinctured or dropped or whatever? I didn't.
So the
Sorry.
first one was organic mushroom immune, and the second one was elderberry.
Okay. Where do we get all this stuff again? I didn't get time to do that.
I don't know where to be. So
Natalie,
we're
Natalie,
happy.
I added the links to where you can get the kit that
Oh,
supports news onto the feed in the chat, and those can be dropped off and delivered to your house by China Rose even after, because these are great wellness tonic drinks to have regardless of right now. These are things that can help your immune system for the foreseeable future. So they're totally they'll get you in contact and get you some at your house.
Oh,
awesome.
good.
Thank you.
And
Miranda.
there's
Yes,
links
ladies,
in
make sure you drop them off at my house.
Maybe not in Idaho. We can definitely ship to you if you're not in Napa.
And if you want a quick and easy link besides what's in the chat box that Miranda's going to put, it's going to be located in the Tiara Party group. We'll repost it again. So even if you, like, once we leave this party, we'll put it back up in the group. So all you have to do is click on it. It'll take you straight there. And Natalie,
Cool.
since you live in town, they'll totally do doorstep delivery.
Yay. Now, what is the difference in elderberry syrup versus the tincture?
So the syrup would be made with a base of, say, honey or glycerin, so that it's not quite as strong as a tincture, and it's going to be sweet. So it's more like a cough syrup that you might have used before. Whereas a tincture uses a combination of alcohol and water, and that alcohol, that small percentage is enough to really pull a lot of the plant chemical constituents out of the elderberry, so it's going to be a stronger preparation. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm not.
Oh, that's
No
a great
worries,
question.
no worries. That's an awesome question, actually. Okay, so you have your cubed pineapple in here, your your chamomile flowers, and your herbs, and now you're going to add a juice of a half of a lemon. I like Meyer lemon because it's a lot sweeter than like a Eureka lemon. So the Meyer lemon is going to add to the sweetness without adding too much sugar to it.
So AJ, you had put 2 dropperfuls of the mushroom elixir in. How many of the elderberry tincture did you put?
2 as well. So 2 dropperfuls per drink. Per serving, basically.
And how much lemon am I putting in here again?
So just half a lemon,
Half.
the juice of half. And I squeeze it over a screen just so that I catch the seeds and all that. It's just a quick, easy way to do it.
I'll do that next
Or,
time.
I mean, if the seeds go in, it's not a big deal because you're straining it anyway.
Yeah.
But you are muddling it, so you might crack a seed, which is bitter. So then you just muddle it down.
Oh, I do
as
have a
much of
strainer.
that juice.
Can I be the Vanna White?
Get as much of that juice out of the pineapples as you can. And the cool thing about pineapple and chamomile that go really well together, I don't know if you've ever smelled a fresh handful of chamomile flowers. Totally pineapple-y, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Miranda knows. We talk about how plants smell all the time. Borage, cucumber. It's interesting how some of these herbs and plants smell and taste a little bit like a fruit or a vegetable, and it's just part of an edible part, a flower or something like that, a root, a leaf. Okay, so now that we got that all mashed up, got the juice out of that pineapple, we are going to add our tea. So you're going to do 2 ounces of tea, of the pre-sweetened, honey-sweetened chamomile tea per drink. 2 ounces per drink. And then add ice. Can you give me the ice, please? So we're going to add just a few cubes of ice, maybe 4 cubes of ice, depending. If you're making more than 2 drinks, if you're going to make 3 or 4, you want more ice, but 4 pieces is enough because you don't want to get it too watered down.
I love having that tiny refrigerator inside the tiny house.
It means we shop for fresh food more often.
Yeah, I
right?
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't mind that at all.
Okay. And then you're just going to shake that for a good 10 to 15 seconds as hard as you can. Because you want a nice froth on it. And it's going to be nice and foamy. And it's going to present very well in the cocktail glass. That's one thing I really love too about these mocktails. Yes, good. Good job, Lori. Don't lose it. Yeah, you want that froth. But the cocktail glass makes a lot, makes a huge difference too. It makes you just feel fancy when you're drinking out of your favorite coupe or something. So I'm just gonna strain this into the glass, and you're gonna get some of that, the chunks of that stuff in there. Just pop it right back in, or you can pop it into a different container. But I like to sometimes take a spoon too and just push down some of the liquid that's still stuck in there. You don't want to waste any of that. It's good stuff.
Lori, I provided you a strainer. You're supposed to use the strainer.
It smells so good already.
Right?
Yeah, I can smell the chamomile and the pineapple.
And it's got like a really nice foam to it. And then I pre-made these little cute pineapple and pineapple leaf garnish. Put that right in the middle. And then you can take a tiny little chamomile flower and just spread it around a little bit. It's got this cute little fairy dust. I don't know if you can see that.
That's lovely. Hurry up and pour yours so we can toast.
All right.
It looks beautiful. Okay, pineapple. Gotta put on my garnish. Wait a second, I'm gonna ask for a moment because I need to deliver one of these cocktails.
Yes, for sure. We'll talk about actually what the herbs in it are for.
Yeah.
Okay, Angel, you can sit at the table and be careful, don't spill. You can have a drink.
this mocktail actually has quite a few different medicinal qualities to it. So let's start with the chamomile. As AJ mentioned, great for digestion. It's a calmative. So it's great at the end of a busy workday when you feel stressed and you might reach for a glass of wine. You know, you can incorporate chamomile into a mocktail. It's anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. Hi. Hey. And then the raw honey itself, if it's raw, it's got a lot of enzymes in it. It has B vitamins and other minerals in it, so that's a nutritive source. The pineapple itself is a great source of bromelain, which is anti-inflammatory. And the herbs themselves, so elderberry is naturally antiviral. It is also cardioprotective, which means it helps support our cardiovascular system. It's antioxidant, and it's immune supportive. So, you know, those are all the things we need right now, right? There you go.
You see it? Hold on.
And then the mushroom immune tonic. So this is a combination of quite a few different mushrooms, some of which you might have heard before. The reishi, maitake, shiitake, lion's mane, cordyceps. So to give you an idea of the benefits of the mushrooms, I love Paul Stamets. He's my favorite mycologist, and he's done numerous studies of the medicinal qualities of mushrooms. And just to give you an idea, so reishi mushroom, he's got this great chart in here that shows you all the benefits of the mushrooms. And he's marked that reishi mushroom is antibacterial, anti-candida, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-tumor, antiviral, great for blood pressure, blood sugar moderator, cardiovascular, cholesterol reducer, immune enhancer, kidney tonic, liver tonic, lung and respiratory tonic, nerve tonic, and stress reducer. So what else would you want to use right now? It's like all the things we need, right? And that's just one of the ingredients. So is everybody ready to toast with something? Be it water, be it wine, be it...
Mama's got her water. Oh, nice wine glass.
Yeah. All right. Toast, everyone, to our health.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh my gosh, that's so good. It's perfect balance of the pineapple and the chamomile, right?
Lovely. Mmm. So good.
Yeah.
And this, you can also make this like, if you don't like pineapple or you're allergic to pineapple, it still works really well with like water, cantaloupe. Cantaloupe works really well. It has a nice melony sweetness to it. You could use like mango or something too, but you would lose some of the chamomile flavor. You know, it would overpower. But you can mix it with almost any fruit.
And the
Where
herbs
did you get your
themselves.
chamomile from?
What's that?
Where'd you get the chamomile from?
This batch we got from an herbal shop in Berkeley the last time we were there. A lot of times we'll order from Mountain Rose Herbs if we can't find it locally. But usually we try and go to either Sebastopol or Berkeley. They have some really good herb shops there that we've been going to for years.
Oh, okay.
And in town in Napa, the bulk spice, remind me, who knows the name of the spice place?
Oh, whole spice.
Whole
Is it called
spice.
whole spice?
They don't have a lot of medicinal herbs. Obviously, it's mostly culinary, but they do have chamomile, I think, because you can use that in cooking as well. So you might look there.
And the mushroom extract doesn't taste like anything? Oh.
Actually, it's great. It doesn't taste like mushrooms like you would think it does. It has a tiny bit of mushroom flavor to it. However, because it's in a little bit of glycerin, it's got a sweetness, a sweet earthiness to it. So it's actually not bad, and it goes great with this drink because we didn't put a lot of sweetener in it, and so it helps kind of bring up that sweetness level without, again, extra sugar.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I thought, since we're already up, do you want to do a little tour of the house, and then we can sit down and chat about some other healthy tips for this time period? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys want to see if it fits with the house?
You have questions like about the mocktail specifically anymore, or do you have other questions, or before we move on to showing you the house?
So I've known in the past that AJ has done mocktails of different styles and things of this nature. I would love to see a cool kit, maybe for like different seasons based off of needs, and a recipe from AJ, because I think that would be stunning. I would totally participate in every single one of them, because honestly, this tastes not healthy at all. And
Right on. Let's.
Yeah,
It is
you know,
fantastic.
we've actually done a few different kits. I mean, every once in a while, if you follow us on social media, I'll do a Fabulous Friday mélange, and I'll I'll do a mocktail up, and we'll put the kit that we used, or the herbs that we used, on our website so that you can purchase it through our calendar. But yeah, it's we're doing it more and more lately. It seems like it's trending. So even though we've been doing this for over 15 years with our clients and together and whatever, so it's cool now that it's mainstream, and hopefully it's not a fad. It's something that's here to stay, because it's a really powerful tool for wellness, overall wellness.
thank you for sharing, because it's absolutely phenomenal and I love it.
Thank you.
And I think it's good to mention too, it's like we're not anti-alcohol. That's not why.
Oh no, rum goes well with this.
But that being said, we are about wellness, as we've said. So it's all within balance, right? And some people, you know, if we're healthy, we're generally healthy. We don't have any specific health concerns we're working with. In moderation, alcohol is not, you know, that hard on our bodies. Especially if we're mixing it, we could do combos of herbs and alcohol and medicinal ingredients like we did today. But it's when we have, say, underlying health conditions, and say we're under a ton of stress and we also drink alcohol, then those are times when alcohol is harder on us. So, you know, it's all about reading our bodies, you know, knowing where we're at.
And again, homeostasis. That's what homeostasis is. It's your body constantly adjusting the levels so that it's trying to get that to that balance. And so it adapts pretty easily if we give it the tools to adapt, right? And so, you know, if I wanted a little bit of rum in this, I wouldn't have to put 2 ounces of rum and make it a double, because it's good and calming and relaxing on its own. So I could put maybe a half ounce of rum in there, and it would enhance it in a different way and still be fun without being overly alcoholic. So you can adjust in any way you feel the need to, and
Depending on the day,
and whatever. But yeah, that's what I love about doing mocktails, because you can make it as alcohol free, or as what I like to call spirited, as you want.
Right on.
All right, any other questions?
I got a
Yes.
question. So, like, I actually am a little immunocompromised from being sick back in December. So I was really attracted to this combination, and I'm like, oh God, finally something that I can do, because Western medicine's not really helping me so much. So how often should we choose to have these mocktails? Like daily, once a day, or I mean, like I was thinking once a day, but yeah.
I think that's a great, you know, just knowing what you've just said, I'd say once a day is the perfect time. If someone is really prone to getting sick and they're concerned about getting sick, they could take these herbs twice a day or more. You know, if a family member is sick and you really don't want to get what they have, maybe you're taking it 3 times a day. So it really depends on the person and the situation, but I think definitely once a day is perfect for someone who just wants to stay well and you know, be proactive. Yeah.
I have a question.
You're muted.
You're muted, Lori.
We blocked out that cuss word. Darn it, those kids, they're driving me crazy today. I love them so much. I love them so much. So for somebody like, once I feel like my general health has actually gotten into that healthy place, then how often would you do this combination of the elderberry and the mushroom?
It depends.
Like once a week, or you'd still do it every day? I mean, there's so many features you have.
Right, and that's kind of where I guess going back to depending on the time, day, and whatever's going on in your life, right? You can switch those herbs around. You can switch it out for a different herb depending. So like mushrooms, for example, I take mushrooms daily. If I skip a day here and there because I went out of town or I forgot or whatever, it's not a big deal. But for the most part, I take mushrooms daily because I have asthma, I have weak lungs, not as weak as they used to be at all by far. And part of it is because I take these mushrooms and they're really helpful for my lungs. I eat pears, which are also really good for your lungs. And you know what I mean? Like I use all the tools I can. So obviously why I don't have symptoms anymore for allergies is because I've been strengthening it. So that's something I would take daily because of my situation. And then I would switch out the elderberry because I don't necessarily use it daily unless a bunch of people around me are sick, or we're going into, the colder, wet weather, which sometimes will bring on more illness around you. I don't want to bring anything home to China Rose because she's immune compromised as well. So I make sure that if I'm around someone, I'm taking elderberry. If someone that's sick, so I don't bring it to her. She'll probably take it more than I would because I have a stronger constitution when it comes to colds and flus. I don't get colds and flus. I pretty much get allergy stuff mostly. And I would switch it out personally, like for Adapt by Vitality Elixir or Damayanas, depending. Adaptogens are really helpful for stress, calming, any type of stress your body's going through. So I work very laborious jobs for the most part. Like I was a bartender for a long time, and I'm out in the garden all the time. I'm constantly lifting heavy equipment, and I just do I'm very active. So taking adaptogens will help that stress on my body. So I would switch out the elderberry for an adaptogenic herb, and then someone else would switch out based on what they need.
What their needs are.
Did I explain that right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what's so cool about herbs and mocktails is that you can customize to your needs. So that's why, we'll do consultations with people. We have a Facebook group where that people will ask questions like, hey, I'm really looking to feel less frazzled. I'm really stressed right now. Like, what can I put in my mocktail? And, so those are questions we're always open to answering. And that brings up a great point that we can kind of mimic what alcohol does with herbs, really, because there are herbs that calm the nervous system. There are herbs that relax muscles. There are herbs that are social lubricants that help us feel more social and talk more easily. So those are a lot of the things people look to alcohol for, right? So yeah, why not, switch it out for herbs here and there, at least at first, and see how you like it, and just, really, it can be a balance. I know we live in wine country, and many people are used to that glass of wine every night. But it's nice to have options in those times when maybe we aren't feeling as well, or we are more concerned just about being sick in general because of what's going on in the world. Just to switch it out every once in a while.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And, they talk about alcohol sales going up. So they're like through the roof. It's just like the Great Depression, Right. Everybody's like, there's so many people that are unemployed. There's so many people in turmoil with trying to figure out whatever their thing is going on. And so alcohol seems like a great salve. And I'll admit, I'm like, oh my gosh, I drank more in the last couple of months. I love the idea or the concept that there are these other elements and tonics that we can use, tinctures, to actually kind of replace that, because really what we're looking for is we're looking for that calm. Yes. So you know.
Hey, AJ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna backtrack for a second. What exactly is in pears that's good for your lungs? Because I never knew that.
There.
You know, like, what is it?
I wouldn't be able to name the active constituent or its other components. I just know from reading with, like, in Chinese medicine, how they equate certain foods with certain conditions or certain foods with certain parts of the body.
The law of similars.
The law of similars. Yeah. And so I know I've read in my studies over the years, you know, whenever I've done research for, you know, either healing in myself or healing in my son or anyone else, I make sure I go back, I make sure and I get the latest updated information that that I can find, and it always kind of goes back to traditional medicine, whether it be Ayurvedic or Chinese medicine or any type of indigenous medicine. Really, they go back to that law of similars and foods that are helpful for certain parts of the body. And pears just come onto that list a lot. And then if you look up, like, anything recent on studies, now the studies are, you know, going now aligning with traditional medicine. So you'll look up a list of what foods are good for the lungs. Pears are on the list. So it's now coming more scientific based than just traditional medicine based.
Other good examples of that law of similars. So yeah, pears look like the lungs, right? Or walnuts look like the brain, and they're very nourishing for the brain. One of my favorites are figs. Figs are great for the ovaries and the testes, and they just so happen to kind of look like that.
Right.
So
yeah, and like for walnuts, for example, like she was saying, they look like they're good for the brain. We didn't know that until science caught up with tradition and told us it's because of the omegas that are in there and the healthy fats that are in there. Does that make sense? So it's like
science has helped to prove what we've known for thousands of years.
That's what I was trying to say. What she said.
Yeah, I just
I think that
wasn't sure the pear thing. Is that, do you feel like you notice a difference at all, like specifically eating pears? Like, does it keep, like, inflammation down in your lungs or anything like that? Because I've had allergy issues for a long time.
Yeah, I know that I gravitate towards foods that my body is at. I listen. I'm very intuitive with, like, what my body's asking for, and if I'm craving something, usually it's a fruit or a vegetable that has something to do with what's going on with me. And so, like, when we first got back from Southern California, my lungs felt very sticky. And I don't know if it was because it's super windy down there before we left and all the dust or whatever, but I was just starting to feel like kind of very sticky lungs and hard to get a deep breath. And so I started eating pears, and I haven't counted the days, or I couldn't tell you, like, oh, I started eating pears on this day and this is how many days it took for me to feel better. But I do notice now, since we've been back, and we've been back for 4 or 5 days, and my lungs don't feel sticky. So it's not just the pears, because I'm also taking herbs and mushrooms and all that are also helpful. But I just added the pears in. I've been taking everything else, but I just added the pears back in because they're in season now. Go figure. How that works, right? Yeah, I just added them about a week ago, and I don't feel sticky, hard to breathe anymore.
I think Molly has a good question, and she's always a great question asker. So
yeah, for sure.
Please.
Thank you, Miranda. I actually have 2 questions because I never can have just one. My first question is, I watched on Facebook one of your other mocktail things, not the one you made today, because it didn't have pineapple in it. I want to say it was some sort of mock martini or.
Oh yeah, the quarantini. I think I did that one down. Yeah, that was similar, just different ingredients.
Yeah. Well, didn't it also have the mushrooms and the elderberry in it?
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead. Like the reason why we are we keep running out of the mushrooms and elderberry because it's everyone that's in our industry knows, like, your clients are going to be calling with certain issues, and so you have them on hand, right? So it's been hard to keep them on hand. So we're just staying ahead of the curve and making sure that people know we have it. It's, we've run out a couple times, and so we just keep ordering it because we know we're gonna need it. And so this is just our way of showing, because of what's been happening with COVID and coronavirus, people are very fearful that they're going to get sick. And so this is one way that we don't know a whole lot about COVID or coronavirus as just the world doesn't know everything, right? And so, but what we do know is that these are very helpful for your immune system, your lungs, and preventative medicine in general, and building the immune system overall. So it's like, if you're going to take anything, these are the best ones to be taking right now.
Okay. And then my second question was that you said that you take mushrooms like almost every day, sometimes several times a day. So
Yeah.
how else can you take it besides in a mocktail? Or do you
So
take mocktails all day?
Yeah, we eat mushrooms. So everything from, like, if you go to the farmer's market, you see all the different types of mushrooms. Like we pick the medicinal ones first. So lion's mane and shiitake and reishi or not reishi, sorry, maitake. So you can eat them.
Oh, okay.
You can get them in drink form, like powdered. We tend to like the liquid stuff, the concentrated liquids better.
Most of the time we're just, filling up a dropper full and dropping it straight in our mouth, throughout the day. I wish we could have 5 mocktails a day, but
it did seem like a lot of work to be making mocktails all day. But
no. I'm sorry. I didn't know that's what you meant. Yeah, no. I'll just put it straight, directly in my mouth.
Okay.
That's how I take my herbs in the morning. I just shoot them straight in my mouth. But we do get mushrooms throughout our day in all different kinds of ways. Just like medicinal herbs.
Okay.
I'm curious, like, I remember reading about this, if you take a tincture, like, underneath the tongue is more absorbative. You just put it right on the tongue, or does it matter?
because tinctures have a little bit of alcohol in them, I don't actually recommend putting them under the tongue because it'll burn. It won't feel very good. And
they're preserved in alcohol. So you're getting a very, very, very small amount, but it's still enough to burn underneath that. It's a sensitive area.
Okay.
Yeah, so just putting it straight in your mouth and swallowing it, I mean, it is starting to absorb right away in the cells of the mouth, and then on its whole way down, and especially once it hits the stomach. So liquid is really, I mean, as an herbalist, it's the form that I use most often because of the ease of delivery, and you don't have to break down a capsule, and it's kept as fresh as it was the first day, that you extracted it, because of that little bit of alcohol. Whereas herbs in a capsule, they're losing potency every single day since you harvested that herb. So we want our medicine to work. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, great questions.
Thank you for that answer.
Yeah. So we want to do a little tour.
Yeah.
And then if you have any other questions, we can end with that. We're getting close to the end of our hour. So you want to turn on your...
Yeah. All right. Let me make sure I got this right. Okay. Here, I need my cocktail. I mean, my mocktail.
I'm going to mute this computer so we don't get...
So quiet. Oh, wait. She's connecting audio.
Now? All right,
Yep.
can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. Let me turn that volume
Oh my gosh, look how big it looks.
You know, it looks bigger than it is because I think part of it is that the walls are slanted outward. So, you know, to be shaped more like a Bardo wagon. So you've got all this headspace above us. This whole side of the house is our kitchen because we cook so much and oftentimes we're cooking together. So big copper sink. We've got an RV 3-burner stove and an oven. So that's plenty for us. What else? Let's see, on this side, you'll see the eating area / office. And this is actually my great-grandmother's dining room set. So my mom was gracious enough to let us upcycle it and put it to a different purpose. So the people that helped us build our house figured out how to cut it down so that we could still pull it out and put a whole leaf in it and seat 4 people at the table. And then when we travel, it can fold down so that it's safe. So, and then this was her buffet. So we use this as clothing storage. So we both share this. So this is this is where all the clothes live, and everyone's like, "Look, where's the rest of your clothes?" We had to downsize quite a bit. So, you know, that was maybe one of the hardest parts for me, but I still found a way to have plenty of outfits. We just change it out. This is closet too, so there is some clothing storage here, but we're both sharing it, so it's just enough space for both of us. And our fridge and freezer on this side, and our lovely pantry. So we've got tons of storage, so we really aren't lacking in that area. The bathroom. I don't know how much you can see.
There you go. Can you see?
Washer dryer combo and composting toilet, and our lovely shower with built-in rainforest garden. And AJ designed this sink so that it can swivel out of the way. So when it's in use, it's in the tub, and otherwise it can move out of the way when we're showering. So, and the biggest medicine cabinet you've ever seen, 7-foot medicine cabinet. So like I said, storage is not an issue at all. That's the first virtual tour we've given of the house. Does anybody have any questions?
I think I saw your bed up high, up in the loft.
Oh yeah, can you see that? So it's above me. And it lowers down at night. So it's actually not a loft. It
goes down at night?
Yeah, it's on a pulley system. So it's, how do I explain this? So you see these pieces of wood on the wall right here. So it's on a tow winch motor up there that with a remote control lowers it down. And so it sits in these slats of wood at night. So it's at this level at night.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. Because I was going to ask, how do you climb up there? I don't see a ladder. I don't see any stairs.
Yeah, so we didn't want a loft because we didn't want to feel claustrophobic. Yeah. We didn't want to feel, we didn't want to feel claustrophobic at night. I mean, and that's what a lot of people say about tiny houses. Like, I don't know if I could sleep in a loft, but it's, for us, it keeps it up and out of the way during the day. And it's really easy to bring down at night. So that was another one of AJ's designs. So she had a lot. I mean, we both just started drawing pictures of what we wanted when we decided we were going to go tiny, and basically made a collaboration of what we both wanted. And it's everybody asked if we would have done anything different, and I don't think we really would have.
You guys didn't show me a really cool door and porch.
Can you think of anything that we do different?
No, I mean, I originally wanted the bed to have a like a crank style rope and pulley system, but they were like, that's gonna be too heavy and too hard to pull up at night when you're tired. I'm like, I don't care.
So it's a little loud, but other than that, it works just fine.
Yeah. I think that would be probably the only thing that changed is like the mechanism to make it go up and down because it's so loud.
Yeah.
You guys didn't show anything on the outside though, like your really cool door and your little porch and stuff like that.
Say that one more time. I didn't have my volume up high enough.
You guys didn't show like your really cool door and little porch and the things that are kind of the outside.
Yeah, the outside.
On the floor.
Now here's the inside of the door. It's a Dutch door.
Full bonus
A
door.
little speakeasy.
I don't think her volume's up, so no, you got to turn your volume back up. The joys of
Can you
live.
hear me now?
There you go.
Okay. So that's the front. China Rose drew that door. And we found an artist to make it out of reclaimed barn wood.
I know, we're getting some feedback.
All right. I'm turning.
All right, both of you guys are muted now.
There, I think I'm unmuted now. I can't tell you how cool it was to be able to draw something, see it come to life, and continue to work on it and add to it. And yeah, it's been pretty amazing. So,
And how long did it take to build? Like from concept to completion? Like really when it starts in the mind, that's when it really starts. And then there's the, okay, execution, we're building it. So how long did it take?
Well, I had been drawing tiny house versions of all kinds of things, from shacks on the beach to sandbag houses and treehouse yurts for a couple of years, several years actually, just kind of fantasizing and dreaming and just like one day. And then when I really got serious, when I really got serious about thinking about the future, like after the earthquake happened here in Napa, it was just kind of an eye opener for us because of all the health issues we had after we found out the foundation was cracked in our house, and the rains were bringing up mold from wherever in the house and making us ill. And we had we got a lot of things broke, and we got broken into just before that, and there was just like we had a lot of loss in a short amount of years, a couple years. And we still had a bunch of shit. I'm like, how can we go through that much loss and still have all this? And so it just was like an eye-opener that we didn't need all those things, and we were just consuming too much. And even if we weren't consuming, even if we tried not to consume so much, we still had a bunch of stuff in storage and a bunch of stuff in the garage and whatever. And so it just kind of got me to thinking, well, why don't we make this tiny house thing a reality? And now that we can think about it in a different way. It's not like we're downsizing too much because we already lost a bunch of stuff that we didn't know we had anyway. And then so we downsized first into a little so from 1,700 square feet. So we're in 175 square feet now. We started out in 1,700 square feet, plus a garage, plus that amount outside too, gardens and stuff. So when we moved into a 2-bedroom to downsize to see kind of what it would be like, we put everything that we couldn't fit in our 2-bedroom in the garage in boxes. We got rid of a lot more stuff too. But then we lived there for a year and never touched those boxes in the garage. So that's when I whipped out my drawings and I'm like, hey babe, what do you think about this? And it took me a minute to kind of make the connection for her, like that we got rid of a bunch of stuff, we lost a bunch of stuff, and we stored a bunch of stuff without touching it for however many years. You know, we obviously didn't need it. What do you think about really downsizing? And that's, I guess that was 2015.
Yeah.
That was about 2015 when I broke it to her that I wanted to go tiny.
But the moment she said it meant we could travel, I was all for it, because that's, you know, renting or paying mortgage, especially in Napa, like it wasn't going to be an option for us to travel very much, and that was frustrating. And so now we own our house and we get to take it wherever we want to, which is awesome. I mean, it's the best of all worlds, really. Yeah.
I just love that you both tapped into what like your passions are. Like AJ, you were all about like, oh, let's let all this stuff go. You know, all the responsibilities that come with owning things. And for China Rose to be like, you know what, travel. So AJ found that button.
She's good at that.
Yeah.
The other day when we were talking about it, China Rose, you were like, you know, it honestly, it was AJ's idea and she was pushing her for a while, but you know, then all of a sudden she said the right thing and then, yeah, let's do it. So it was the travel piece, huh?
It was.
The travel piece, and what really sealed the deal was I talked to the artist in her and I was like, you can literally draw whatever you want it to be. Draw it and we can make it. We can make it exactly the way you want it. And that like was the light bulb for sure.
Yeah. And is this an artist that focuses on tiny living building, or did you work with an artist that's like, I've never done it, but that would be fun to do? And can you share who that person is if they're into it?
Yeah, well, there's actually quite a few people out there doing some really, really cool artistic tiny houses. And I can send you a list of at least 10 names of people that are doing really cool stuff. But when we first started drawing things out, it was just us. We designed and drew everything from our imagination and from things like that the aesthetic that we both kind of like, that old-timey aesthetic. And so we just started drawing things out and looking things up and doing the research. And there's programs you can type in like what square footage you have and how and the appliances and all that stuff. You can plug it in and it'll show you kind of what type of space you have or need. So once we plugged it into that, I was like, you know, first of all, we thought we were going to be able to get away with 18 feet. That didn't happen.
Yeah, well,
we taped it out on our driveway. We taped out 18 feet long and 8.5 feet wide on our driveway, and we're like, yeah, no. So we ended up with 22 feet, which gave us a little bit more room for the kitchen. And if you guys, you could tell this is half kitchen because we're always in the kitchen. Yeah. But yeah, so it's there's a lot of resources out there now that there weren't back then. A lot more now, and better ones now than there were then as well. So yeah, if anyone wants to email us and ask for whatever tiny house information, I have a whole list of like everything from components to building materials to designers, or not designers, but tiny builders and artists and stuff. So yeah, I have all that, and everything is eco-friendly. The whole thing was designed to be able to go off grid if we wanted to.
And chemical-free components, and like our countertops are made out of recycled paper and cork flooring, and you know, we were so concerned because we were so toxic when we got out of our moldy house. We're like, we can't handle any of that usual construction, chemical off-gassing that, especially in such a small space, you can imagine.
Oh, yeah. Well, and what a great opportunity to lead by example, like just showing like, hey, it can be done.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's how we use it. It's a teaching tool too. We when we travel, we participate in tiny house festivals. We've given talks on how to live healthily in a tiny house, and especially how to cook and store your food when you have so much less space. So it's definitely the message we've brought to that world as well. It's been really exciting to branch out to reach other people that way. Yeah.
And you don't have to give up aesthetic or luxury items even if you don't want to. Like, we know a woman who lives tiny and she's like got like
top of the line
everything and art, like beautiful art all over her walls, and it's clean aesthetic, and it's minimalist, but it's still like really luxurious looking. So there's all kinds. It's really cool to see what people have gotten, how creative they've gotten and what they've done with small spaces.
Well, I think that yours is incredibly creative, and just saying like that there's so much progression that's happened with technology and with how people are building out spaces and everything. Just look at what you guys designed and created before all of that. I mean, it's really a piece of art. It's like functional living art, I love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then tell the girls about the wood, because I remember hearing about what the wood where the wood was salvaged. Was it for the exterior or the interior walls?
Some of it is just from old pieces of furniture. Some of it is from pallets, but the main siding is new cedar, but it's sustainable Western red cedar. So it's not that's one of the parts that's not salvaged, because
but that's cedar. You need that to protect the rest of it.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to be going down the road. You want something that's very solid and sturdy and new.
Right.
So that, but what we did was, instead of painting it or putting any type of primer or anything like that, we just left it natural. We did a vinegar and steel wool wash. So basically you put vinegar and steel wool in a bucket, and after a few days it turns into a stain basically. And what it does is it brings out the natural tones in the cedar. So it brings out the reds and grays and stuff. So we put that on it to deepen it, the color, and then we just put oil, and we oiled it. And then on the outside, we did the same thing, except for we did shoshujiban, which is the Japanese style of charring the wood to seal it. So it makes it a lot darker, and then it's sealed now. So it's pest resistant and fire resistant, and it's got a lot of cool properties, because once you oil it, then it really helps preserve the wood a lot longer than painting it.
And chemical free.
And it's chemical free.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive. You guys kind of became experts in that field.
We've actually been asked to do some design work, and it's just too much. Like, as much as fun as it is.
I know. Let me get my other hat.
Yeah, right. But it's so fun to share it, and to share the idea that we can, whether you go tiny house or not, to simplify feels so good, and even in a regular size house, and get rid of things that you aren't using and that just clutter space. So
I know we had like 2s and 3s of things, because we brought both of our households together when we got together. So I'm like, why do we have 3 of the same thing?
Time to go ahead and repurpose and send them on their journey to somebody else's journey. Yeah. Absolutely.
Before I forget, I wanted to make sure, and offer a couple of things, you know, that have to do with wellness right now. So for anybody in this group, if they're curious about what we're doing to stay healthy and well and prevent illness, we have a whole list of recommendations and tips and suggestions that we give to clients, and we'd be happy to share that with this group. All you'd have to do is email me. It's chinarose@chinarosewellness.com, and I'd be happy to send that to you. And then we also have another exciting offering. You know, a lot of people know that I specialize in hormones and women's hormonal wellness, and that's really why most people seek me out at this point. And we have gotten a lot of requests to do our hormonal harmony workshop again, which just seems like, you know, we've taught it all over the country. We've taught it in Napa a couple times, you know, spaced out a couple years apart. And it just, I keep running into people that are like, when are you going to do that workshop again? I need to, right? It's something that unites all women, but we kind of have this mystery that surrounds how our hormones work. So we were going to do an in-person event later this summer, but with the way things are, we thought we might do an online virtual event, and that way people from all over the country could join us in that. So again, if you're interested and want to be included on our guest list, if you email me, that way I'll have your contact information. The women in this group will actually get you know, a great discount, you know, because we love connecting with the women in our community, and it means a lot to us, and we want to support the women in our community. That's really important. So let us know if that's something that interests you, for sure.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to hear that you're going to go ahead and do something like that, because it's definitely perfect timing for myself.
I hear you.
47 years old. What's happening? Oh, PMS and SIP. I wasn't kidding when I was saying, please put a garnish on today's mocktail that will cover that.
Well, and I should say, you know, stress is the main thing that causes hormones to go out of balance. So if we're all a little stressed right now, you know, I'm hearing left and right symptoms popping up that weren't there before, be it PMS or perimenopausal, or even in young women, you know, in their teens and early 20s are having symptoms that they aren't used to. So yeah, the information is important to share, for sure. So let us know if you'd like to be in on that.
Will do. All right, well, on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and close out this week-long series. And today, thank you so much for welcoming us into your home.
Of
to
course.
Mocktails today, and to show us around and tell us more about the wellness piece. I'm looking forward to seeing the cause and effects of having these mocktails every day for a while, and kind of get my lungs back in order. And yeah, I'm just excited. I'm going to definitely sign up and do your group thing with the hormonal piece. I think that'll be helpful for a lot of us. So looking forward to that. All right.
Well, definitely, you can find us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram too. We gift a lot of complimentary information. We love sharing, so that's a great way to add new healthy, you know, foods and herbs and ideas, strategy around cooking. So we'd love to have you be a part of our community there too.
And Miranda mentioned at your other party that you have an amazing newsletter that you put out that's very entertaining and fun. So just by subscribing on your website, then we can kind of get in on that fun. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, you ladies take care, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for joining us, ladies. Bye.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much, China Rose, AJ. You guys are the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Here we go. Do you want to stop?